Hello, friends. Today I'm going to tell you about a movie called Mine. Mike Stevens, a U.S. Marine sniper, and his friend Tommy Madison, a radio operator and observer, are on a mission in North Africa. They are tasked with eliminating the terrorist leader. However, something went wrong. The terrorist leader did not arrive at the scene alone. Bedouins came to meet him to arrange a wedding. Mike is doubtful. He's not sure if this is the person they need to eliminate. The command insists on completing the task, but Mike does not pull the trigger. The bride and groom fall into his sight. When they step aside, Mike can't identify the target and thinks it might be another person. He raises his rifle to answer Tommy's objection, but the sight flashes in the sun. The terrorists' bodyguards notice this, open fire, and the partners have to run. Thanks to the sandstorm, they get out of the shootout alive. Mike and Tommy contact the command, and they are directed to the evacuation point, to the village of Berbers, which is located a few kilometers from their location. On the way, it turns out that Tommy has a little son waiting at home, and Mike has a girlfriend to whom he has not decided to propose. A sandstorm tore off the Danger Mines sign, and the sign flew to Mike. He also finds a toy soldier in the sand. However, Tommy decided that it was an old sign and it was not worth paying attention to. When the friends cross another plane, Tommy is blown up by a mine, and Mike, trying to save him, steps on another mine. He hears the click of the fuse and stops abruptly. Tommy's legs were blown off. He's covered in blood and he's not thinking straight. Mike persuades him to give him a shot of morphine so that Tommy can reach the backpack with the walkie-talkie. That's what he does. Despite this, Tommy is in shock. He is not able to think clearly and he is unable to call for help. Unable to stand the suffering, Tommy shoots himself in the head. But before that, he asks Mike to survive and tell his son that Tommy loved him. Mike is desperate. He builds a hook out of shoelaces, a hatchet, and a belt from a sniper rifle, with which he pulls himself a backpack with a walkie-talkie. However, the walkie-talkie batteries are dead, and the spare batteries are in Tommy's breast pocket. He connects the walkie-talkie to the solar panel for recharging. When the radio station replenished the charge and turned on, Mike manages to contact his superiors and report on the situation. The command informs that they will be able to evacuate Mike only in 52 hours. The military got into a firefight, so they cannot arrive at the evacuation site immediately. Mike sets the countdown on the clock and prepares to wait. He is running out of water. There is little food left, but this is not the main of his problems. Another sandstorm is coming from the desert. Mike hastily wraps his face with a protective cloth, rests one side of his body against the rifle, and with the other hand holds a backpack with a walkie-talkie. However, the sandstorm is too strong. He loses his backpack, and when the sandstorm stops, he discovers Tommy's body next to him. Mike takes the spare batteries out of his pocket. The water is over. The sun is mercilessly baking. Mike is losing his last hope. He pulls out a gun, shoots into the air several times, and then puts the gun to his temple. At this moment, a local resident, a Berber, appears. Mike asks him to bring water and give him a walkie-talkie from his backpack. Laughing at Mike's situation, Berber leaves. Seeing no other way out, Mike urinates in the hydropack and is ready to drink it. A little girl appears from behind the hill with a flask of water. She gives the water to Mike and shows him a toy soldier, similar to the one Mike found in the desert. Mike asks her to bring a walkie-talkie, but the girl silently runs away. A long, cold night is approaching. Mike's strength is already leaving him. If he falls asleep or falls down from fatigue, the mine will explode. Therefore, he makes a fire from dry twigs that were nearby and tries to keep warm. In the middle of the night, when the darkness has become especially thick, the cries of predators can be heard in the silence. They don't let Mike fall asleep even when the fire of the small campfire has gone out. Mike starts shooting back and even kills several animals. Then he lights a flashlight and sees Tommy's body lying next to him being dragged away by hungry jackals. In the dark, Mike is visited by visions, memories from his childhood, how his father beat his mother. He even tries to fight with an imaginary father. Morning comes, Mike almost falls off his feet from fatigue. Berber comes to him again. He says Mike is lucky to have survived a night with predators and still hasn't been blown up by a mine. He tells him that Mike should free himself, take a step and go forward. But Mike takes it as a mockery. They have a short conversation. Mike asks Berber to bring him a walkie-talkie and he, having finished reasoning, fulfills the request and then leaves. Time in the heat drags on too slowly. Mike is visited by hallucinations. Visions from the Past. It seems to him that Tommy has come to life. He got up from the sand and started talking to Mike. A new cold and dark night has come, but this time Mike does not have the fire and strength to fight the predators. The jackals are slowly advancing out of the darkness. Mike shoots them until he runs out of bullets in the gun. Then the predators rush at him, tear his hands with their teeth, and grab his legs. Mike's mind is creating visions from the past again. He remembers how he stood up for a waitress in a bar, defeating 4 hefty rangers, and how this waitress would later become his girlfriend. When Mike woke up, he realized that he had stabbed all the jackals that tried to eat him with a knife. Tommy, or rather his vision, was with Mike all night. In the morning, the radio spoke again. The command reported that the military were delayed and would be only in 17 hours. In desperation, Mike threw away the clock by which he was tracking the countdown to the arrival of rescuers. It seemed to him that he was talking to Jenny, his girlfriend. He asked her for forgiveness, said he loved her, and began to fall. But a Berber suddenly appeared and held him on his feet. Berber treated Mike's wounds left by the predators and said that he should hold on, that he was lucky to be still alive. Berber and Mike started a new conversation. During it, Mike learns that Berber himself was once blown up by a mine. He and his daughter dug them out of the sand and sold them to the partisans. Instead of mines, his daughter put cans. On one of these days, a mine went off, and Berber's daughter died, and he himself lost his leg. Now he has a wooden prosthesis instead of a leg. Berber said that it was he who brought Mike the water, and the girl, his daughter, he only dreamed. He also said that after the amputation of his leg, he did not want to live, but in a moment of extreme despair, he realized that he had to move on. Now he has a wife and 2 children. Berber made it clear that Mike should also become free and move forward. He gives Mike some kind of drink, warning that he will start having visions. But then everything will be fine. Berber then leaves, leaving Mike with his hallucinations. Mike again sees his drunk father beating his mother, and then beating him himself. He tries to resist, but the scene changes. He is transported to the day of meeting Jenny, fighting with the Rangers. Then he sees how he and Jenny quarrel, how he becomes like his father. Jenny is waiting for a marriage proposal from him, but Mike does not notice it. He walks away from the conversation about marriage. In his visions, a dying mother appears in a hospital bed. From Mike's hallucinations, the voice of the military is heard on the radio. They drive a few kilometers away from him in cars. They're ready to pick him up, but he has to give a signal. However, in order to reach the smoke bomb, Mike needs to overcome his fear and take a step forward. He is afraid to take this step, doubts, and the military is moving further away. They can't stay because of the terrorists. Mike is shot at the very moment when he is ready to give the signal. He was surrounded by people with guns, but Mike is not ready to give up yet. He shoots back with a sniper rifle, kills them one by one until he runs out of ammo. Finally, a vision of his father appears among the sands. He slowly approaches with a familiar grin on his face. Mike points a gun at him, but is unable to put a bullet into a vision from his past. Realizing that he is ready to forgive his father, Mike lowers the gun. The father hugs him and tells him to go ahead. The hallucinations disappear. Mike sees that the military vehicles are moving further away. He decides to take a step forward and take a smoke bomb. Mike gets off the mine, but it doesn't explode. Still not realizing what happened, he carefully digs out an explosive device and instead discovers a tin can left by Berber's daughter. And there's a toy soldier in it. Wounded and bloody, Mike cries with happiness, falls on the sand, and lights a smoke bomb. He was noticed. Red smoke rose over the desert. Sappers are cautiously approaching him through a minefield. They take him away, bring him to himself, and send him home. At the airport, Mike, along with other military personnel, goes to his family. A toy soldier is hanging on a chain. Berber's daughter left it in a tin can. In the crowd of people, he notices Jenny. She is happy that her beloved returned unharmed. She wants to hug Mike, but he stops a step away from the girl, looks into her eyes, and gets down on one knee, ready to propose to her. Thank you for watching this video.